black stamping hooves. Glory tightened her long, dark ponytail, and then she unzipped her jacket, releasing the excess heat. In the sidecar beside her, Peter was perfectly still, until his fingers began to drum on the lip of the sidecar.
"Feel free to use your words,"
Glory said.
"just as soon as you have any. Where to now?"
A red bandana pinned Peter's dark hair back, and he was wearing an old denim jacket. When he stopped finger-drumming and dangled his arms out of the sidecar, sand hissed quietly out of his sleeves onto the ground. He turned his dark face up toward the sun and shut his eyes.
"I would like 2012, he said. "Maybe. Probably. But short distances are so hard."
Glory watched as the first of the spectators of the boat tragedy began to take notice of the motorcycle and the girl straddling it. A woman adjusted her sun hat and squinted. A sweaty, barrel-shaped man with a two-gun holster and spurs began to walk toward them. His hands were too twitchy for Glory's taste. She'd seen more than enough old Western gunfighters for several lifetimes.
"Girl!"
the man yelled.
"Did you do this?"
"We should move on,"
Glory said quietly. Peter opened his eyes, focusing on the approaching man.
"Is this 1884?
he asked.
"I'm trying to train my time sense. This tastes a little like 1884 to me."
The man paused 30 feet away, dust settling onto his already dusty trousers.
"Indian, you get out of that little locomotive and keep your hands up while you climb."
Peter ignored the man's tone and his command.
"What year is it, please?"
Glory turned the key in the ignition and lifted her right foot onto the kickstart. The man squinted.
70, he said. 1870.
Peter turned to Glory.
"I was closer. I guessed 84. You were at 50.
Glory smiled.
"And you were aiming for 2012? Some time walker."
The man took another cautious step forward.
"I'm not going to ask you to again. That machine there shouldn't be handled by no girl, and surely no savage."
"You're right."
Glory gave the man a serious nod.
"So you better steer clear. You're the only savage I see. No la toca."
Glory kicked the starter.
"Excuse me?"
the man snorted. Glory kicked the starter again, and this time the motorcycle roared beneath her, shivering and ready. A dozen already frightened heavy horses stamped and twisted against their harnesses. Not one of them had ever heard any engine like it. Neither had the people. Men shouted as the horses reared. The ship swayed and began to lean. Another wheel cracked loudly.
"Pete,"
Glory said.
"now would be a good time to move."
Peter had already raised his hands to the sky. The barrel-chested man was drawing both of his guns. Glory toe-clicked the bike into gear and twisted the throttle wide open. Dust rose in a rooster tail behind the rear wheel as they surged forward toward the ship and the terrified horses and the even more terrified men trying to control them. Peter dropped his hands. Glory shut her eyes as thousands of invisible grains of sand scraped across her cheeks. For a moment, she felt weightless, floating in darkness. And then, cold air and rain replaced the warm sand on her skin. She let go of the throttle and opened her eyes on another era of Seattle, this time at night. The bike slid to a stop.
"Wrong again,"
Glory said.
1952.
Peter wiped rain from his face and leaned forward in the sidecar.
"But I'm guessing." "No way."
Glory looked around.
"I'm going 1930s.
She and Peter were in the same street, on the same hilltop, but now it was wearing shiny, wet pavement, reflecting old neon signs and dim golden streetlights. The road was a black garden of bouncing raindrops. A neon motel sign buzzed above them on the left. A bright yellow furniture and appliance store glowed at them on the right.